Hello Internet, this is your buddy Roo coming to you with a brand new series.
And I'm Boomer, and I'm here too.
Actually, you aren't supposed to be part of this.
Why?
I just want this to be a more laid back and relaxed series. You know, nothing fancy.
You're just too lazy to eliminate me.
Damn, he got me. Jokes aside, let me tell you what this is about. As the title and the thumbnail already told you, this series is going to be about one of my favorite games. Diablo. I tried to come up with a funny name for it, like Diablo, but you know, I'm not a really funny guy. But what do I want to do in this series? Originally I just wanted to play Diablo 3 again, since Season 14 started a couple of weeks ago, but then I thought, hey, we are playing it, why don't make a series out of it? And yes, I'm well aware that this is another Blizzard game. I might as well just rename the channel to That Austrian Fanboy.
Are you at least getting sponsored by Blizzard for this?
No, I wish I was. Hey Blizzard, give me a call. But I'm getting sidetracked again. In this series I want to review Diablo 3, talk a little bit about its lore, and all the fun and interesting stuff you get to do in the game. So let's do just that. Before we can jump into the game and the story of Diablo 3 itself, we need to establish the mechanic and overall story of the games. For those of you who have never seen anything Diablo related, this is how the games usually look. They can be described as action role-playing hack and slashes. Players can choose between different characters to play as, all of them having different abilities and perks. You can level up said characters, unlock new abilities, and collect newer and more powerful armor. Just like all the other role-playing games. Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 also offer online play, to let you play with your friends. And did I mention that the servers for Diablo 2 are still up and running? Maybe I will review that game at one point too. But what is the story of Diablo about? The game is set in a fictional, medieval-like world called Sanctuary. Besides this mortal world, there are also the kingdoms of Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell have been at war with each other since the dawn of time, and their conflict constantly spilled into Sanctuary. Sanctuary itself was actually created by a group of angels and demons tired of the war. But talking more about this may only complicate things for now. Important to know are the so-called Prime Evils, the three most powerful demons of Hell. One of these Prime Evils is the title-giving Diablo.
He looks nice.
The other Prime Evils are the Lord of Destruction Baal and the Lord of Hatred Mephisto. Sometime before the first game, the Lesser Evils exiled the Prime Evils out of Hell, damning the spirit forms to walk the earth and causing trouble there. But no matter how hard the humans tried, they weren't able to kill the Prime Evils. So the Horadrim, a group of powerful Magi, created the Soul Stones to act as prisons for the Prime Evils. They banished Diablo, Baal and Mephisto, and everything was fine and dandy. So let's talk about the actual game. The whole story starts at the kingdom of Kandurus and its capital Tristram. Kandurus' king Laric has a big problem. His advisor Lazarus found Diablo's soulstone under Tristram's cathedral and broke the damn thing. That set the Lord of Terror free. It's thanks to a brave warrior called Aiden, who's also Laric's son, and the mage Deckard Cain that Diablo was defeated this time around. For whatever reason, Aiden also took Diablo's soulstone and pushed the thing into his forehead.
That's a normal thing to do.
Now corrupted by Diablo, that was to be expected if you shoved the guy into your own forehead, Aiden traveled the world and called himself the Dark Wanderer. This is where the story of Diablo 2 starts. And I just have to mention that Diablo 2 is one of the greatest games ever. It has online play, 7 different classes, a great story, and is actually the game that got me into online gaming. And it also started my love for Blizzard. If it wasn't for Diablo 2, I probably wouldn't be making this video. Or all my World of Warcraft videos. But back on topic. On his journey, the Dark Wanderer managed to free Diablo's brothers, Baal and Mephisto, from their prisons. With the band back together, Diablo overtook the Wanderer's body and is now restored to his full form. It's now up to the player to fight Mephisto and Diablo. This time they are aided by Deckard Cain and the angel Tyrael. The hero ends up trapping Diablo and Mephisto in the Soulstones again and kills them for good by destroying the stones at the so-called Hellforge. That was the story of Diablo 2. Until its expansion Lord of Destruction rolled around. The last living member of the Prime Evils, Baal, is looking for the Wallstone. The World Stone is not only one of the most powerful artifacts in existence, it was also responsible for the creation of Sanctuary. The Lord of Destruction eventually succeeds in tainting the World Stone before he is killed by our hero. The story ends with Tyrell destroying the tainted World Stone to keep its corruption to spread through all of humanity. That was quite something. But that's just the prelude. Now we have to talk about Diablo 3 and its premise. The game takes place 20 years after the World Stone's destruction and starts in New Tristram. A fallen star hit the cathedral of Old Tristram. On its own, that doesn't sound too bad. But undead monsters started to rise from the cathedral and they are now terrorizing New Tristram and its inhabitants. That's where we come in.
Finally!
Not so fast, my friend. We still have to talk about the different classes in the game. Even though I want to focus more on the story of the game, I also want to give you a little rundown of the playable classes. And I have to hand it to Blizzard, they did another fantastic job. Every class has its own backstory, introductory cutscene, and custom voiced dialogue.
Alton and the militia were slaughtered by those things.
Thanks for the warning, but I won't be dying today.
Only I survived.
I have experience in these matters.
Only I survived.
Don't worry, I will avenge their deaths. Old Tristram, Diablo's evil, still lingers here. Old Tristram, Diablo himself was here.
Old Tristram, Diablo once walked these lands.
Let us start with the Barbarian class. The Barbarians of Mount Ariad were once the guardians of the World Stone. After the World Stone was destroyed, a lot of them lost their cravings for battle and are only a shadow of their former selves. One of these barbarians, that's us, got wind of the meteor falling on Tristram and is now traveling there to find a foe worthy of his blade. The witch doctors of Tengazi Jungle are less hands-on as the barbarians. They communicate with the spirits of the so-called unformed land and are able to reanimate dead corpses and use various potions to boost their power. One of these witch doctors, that's us again, is tasked by the spirits to travel to Tristram to investigate the fallen meteor. The demon hunters are pretty self-explanatory. They are a small group of people dedicated to fight demons. In our case, we assume the role of a young hero joining the demon hunters after losing their sister in a demon attack. We travel to Tristram to do the thing we do best, hunt the forces of hell. This may be one of my favorite classes. May it only be for the fact that the female character model reminds me of someone else. Let's talk about the Sucker Room Crusaders next. These women and men of the light are on a righteous mission of purging Sanctuary from demons. We will assume the role of a crusader who's sent to Tristram to do exactly that. There's nothing more to say. The monks of Evgorod are worshippers of the Subteth Faith, a religion spanning 1001 gods and goddesses. Please don't be mad at me if I don't list them here. They also mastered hand-to-hand combat and are a stark contrast to the barbarians and crusaders. The player, us yet again, is sent by the monks' leaders, the Patriarchs, to Tristram to deal with the falling star. There isn't much to say about the wizards of the Ishari Sanctum. They are good with magic, and our main character travels to Tristram to fulfill his destiny, foretold by an ancient prophecy. And last but not least, we talk about the priests of Ratmar, also known as the Necromancers. Our main character is sent to Tristram by his master to put the rising undead back to their graves. As you just saw yourself, all of these characters have beautifully crafted cutscenes, and the voice actors are doing a pretty good job too. Laura Bailey, also the voice of Jaina Proudmoore, or Dorian Harewood of Full Metal Jacket fame are only two of them. Blizzard must have dropped a lot of cash to get all these fantastic actors. But enough of me kissing Blizzard's ass. Let's get into the actual game.
Yeah!
Let's start with Act 1. No matter what class we choose, we will start out at New Tristram. We arrive just in time to fend off a zombie attack. We are told that there is only one survivor of the fallen star crashing into the cathedral, a young lady called Leah. We have a quick chat with Leah, who tells us that her uncle, Deckard Cain, is still lost in the destroyed cathedral. Our conversation is rudely interrupted by a group of survivors turning into zombies.
This is killing business.
To progress, we first have to take care of the undead threat. To stop the hordes of zombies, we have to take out the wretched queen and her subjects, the wretched mothers. Those ladies munch on corpses and puke them out as zombies. How do I know that? With every new enemy you encounter, the game gives you a quick rundown on it.
I, Deckard Cain, have spent many years traveling and writing about the strange creatures in our world.
Dear reader, I am Abd al-Hazir, adventurer, scholar, and researcher. I share my knowledge of this incredible world and its creatures through my insightful missives.
The first few minutes will give us a pretty good overview of the gameplay and what we can expect from Diablo 3. On our way to our various objectives, we will often run into smaller, separated areas, like this cellar for example. These areas are often filled with special enemies, which you can defeat for better loot and items. You can also fool around a bit and destroy various pieces of the environment.
Yes, fuck you, Beryl, and fuck that stump in particular.
But let's carry on with the story. So we head to Old Tristram and deal with the wretched queen. Once we return to New Tristram, Leah decides to join us on our search for Deckard Cain. And how did I miss to talk about this before? Look at that little bow in her hair. That's so cute. And talking about things I missed to mention, did you know that you can make your character dance? But what's going on with the witch doctor?
He's having a seizure. Help him.
But my favorite dance has to be the necromancer's one. They simply refuse to dance. Ha! I bet you thought I would say that the wizard's one is my favorite.
Nice.
But enough with the silly jokes. Let's get to work. The next quest is called Legacy of Cain. Haha, funny. With Leah in tow, we make our way to the hut of the witch Adria. During some chit-chat, we find out that Adria wasn't only a witch, but also Leah's mother. Leah didn't really know her, since she was raised by her adoptive uncle Deckard. Her father is out of the picture too. We even get some vague dialogue concerning him.
What of your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons.
Heyo, what would you say how old Leah is?
Pooh, I don't know, 20-something?
Could it be that she...
Don't spoil it, man.
But I wasn't.
Oh, I know exactly what you were going to say. Just let it go, man.
Oh man.
At Adria's hut we not only find one of her old journals, but also run into the now undead Captain Dalton. We get the key to the cathedral from him and promptly head there.
So this is where the star fell. My quarry must be near.
Now we could just rush through the building to finish the quest, but I always enjoy roaming around and taking in the scenery.
We thought we could keep the dead trapped here. Akarat, save me.
We do eventually find Deckard Cain, who is chased by the spooky, scary Skeleton King.
Ah, ghosts!
We save the old man and return to Tristram with him. Here we find out that the Skeleton King is actually the undead King Leoric. He rose from the dead after the fallen star hit the cathedral. If you talk a little bit to Deckard and Leah, you get a retelling of the events of the first game and Aiden's quest to defeat Diablo. Now, this video is getting longer and longer, isn't it? So why don't we end it here for the day and continue our quest in the next episode? I don't really have a fixed schedule for these videos. They will be out when they are done. Just so you know. But like always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, consider liking or commenting on the video.
And become a Kangabo today by subscribing to the channel. Do it! Do it now!